Greetings, class. Professor Banner here. I'm your instructor for IDT 523 Digital Narratives here at SUNY Poly. What I'd like to do today is to introduce you to the class a little bit, talk about digital narratives, give you an idea of what you'll be doing throughout the course, and introduce myself a little bit more and talk about how I feel that digital narratives come into play in the work that we all do. So you'll have an opportunity as you come into the course to poke around, to get acquainted with one another, and to see what's going to be required of you throughout the term. I love teaching this course. I love teaching storytelling of any kind. I've been a performance storyteller for almost 40 years. I started young. And to me, digital storytelling and digital narratives is about taking the stories that we have and finding new ways to tell them, share them, and archive them. So think about stories that you have or stories that you tell. And, anytime we get together and we have a conversation, we're sharing those stories. Digital narratives enables us to archive those stories, to share them in different ways, and to save them and present them and give our listeners a more immersive experience. Throughout the term, we're going to talk about different ways that we use digital narratives to communicate, to collaborate, to inspire, and to move people to action. So stories have been around for a very, very, very long time, and the technologies that we use to deliver those stories is always changing. This is a very exciting class. I have to update it every time I teach it because the technologies are always changing. And as we progress through the course, we'll see technologies change that we use while we're working on this course. So I need you to be patient about the technology. The course is not about mastering technology. It's about understanding what it means to have a narrative, to find a narrative, to develop a narrative, to share that narrative, and to do it in such a way that we become a part of the story ourselves through that technology. For each project that you work on, and I'm going to go through what we do each. Let's step back and we'll go through what we do each week. Let's start here. So each course module is a week long. Our projects are typically 2 weeks long, some are 1 week long, but each week you're going to have a reading from either the book or some handouts that I'll have for you up in Blackboard. We'll have a discussion, and the discussions are important. I am not looking for for a novel in the discussion area. I'm looking for your reflection. Reflection is key in this course. I want you to be reflective about these questions, and I want you to answer them from an educated, open perspective. So if you see a question and you're not sure how to answer it, feel free to reach out to me. But the discussion forum questions are really about you creating shorter narratives and thinking about what we've read, what we've seen, what we've shared throughout the course up to that point. So we'll have a discussion forum, and this week's discussion is just a welcome and get to know each other, a little icebreaker. The field trips. Now, the field trips are websites that I want you to go visit. And I used to have the field trips tied into the discussion forums, but then I found so many more interesting questions to ask my students, to ask you. So the field trips are really sites that you should take a look at, things that you should explore. They're not required. You're not going to be tested on did you visit every field trip, but think about it sometimes. You want to get some work done in the class, you want to get some inspiration, go ahead and check out these field trips. And some of them directly inform the projects that we'll be working on during those weeks. Story projects are the big piece of work in this class. And story projects, each one is very different, but for each story project that you complete, you will have to turn in a reflective essay. Again, I'm not looking for a novel. There are 5 questions that you need to answer in that essay. Who is the intended audience? What emotions were you trying to evoke? What was your creative process throughout as you were working on that? And what did you learn from that creative process? That's only 4 questions. Sorry, I said 5. So, but the reflective essays should be, 2-3 pages long. Some go as long as 5. It's really Think about it as the journal of your process of creating these projects and what you learned through this creation process. Because it's not just about, taking a story you might have and throwing it into PowerPoint and adding a few pictures. It really is about what it means to construct a narrative and to use technology to share, archive, and collaborate on that narrative. The reflective essay should really talk about what you learned, tie in the discussion questions we had that week, tie in the readings that we've had, and you'll be all set. One more thing that we do each week are the weekly Create challenges. Now, the story projects, some are 1 week long. Most of them are 2 weeks that you'll have to work on them. The weekly Creates are every week. And I was inspired by Alan Levine's course, Digital Storytelling DS-106, which was a digital storytelling MOOC, which they had a daily Create. And you can still go to DS-106 and participate in the daily Create. We have a weekly Create. And each week, I'm asking all of you to contribute something to our weekly Create blog. And you'll see that the challenges in each module, it could be a photograph, it could be a poem, it could be a haiku, it could be a recipe, and there's some fun, there's a couple others interspersed that are a little bit different. These should not take you more than 15-20 minutes, half hour max. The idea is that you're creating a micro story. What is this tiny, this chunk of digital storytelling, and sharing it with the class. And we'll be doing those on our weekly Create blog. I will be posting in the weekly Creates every week. I'll be the first one to post, hopefully, if I stay on task. I'll also be participating in the discussions just like you. I may comment a little bit more in there. I'm not going to comment on everyone's post. I want to have a conversation in the discussion forums. So you'll see my perspective in the discussions. I will be reading everything in there, and I want to make sure that you are, posting and contributing. But I'm not going to be, driving these discussion forums. I'm going to be participating in them with you. It's about reflection. It's about sharing. It's about contemplation. And it's about the narrative. It's about the story. Now, it's now January 2017. We've been through a crazy election cycle. Politics are hot all over the place. And I'm going to ask that in this class, this term, that we do not have political debate or commentary in any of the discussion forums. Please, please refrain from including politics in the discussion forums. If you feel very strongly about politics and the news and media now, and it is important that we do discuss it at some point, so I'm going to figure out how we're going to do this. If you want to do a story project that is political, you can. However, understand that your classmates will be seeing your work, okay? And if you want to do something highly political and you don't want to share it, that's okay too. What happens when we're creating stories is we find those pieces that we get passionate about. And I want you to share what you're passionate about. I do. I just want to be sure that we're respecting each other throughout the duration of this class. So again, please refrain from political commentary in the discussion forums. And if you want to do a highly political piece and not share it, that's fine. If you want to do a political piece and share it, that's fine as well too. And at any point in time, if you're not sure, just reach out to me and we can have a conversation. We can talk about it and we can talk about what would be appropriate in the classroom. So I'm broadcasting to you live from my office. At some times I may be broadcasting to you from around the world. I do travel quite a bit. I worked in online teaching and learning for about 20 years, and in June of 2016, I quit my day job, which is always a great thing to do. I retired, that's my word. I retired, and I have been consulting since then. I have a full-time consulting business. I work out of my house in Saratoga Springs, New York. And I work in e-learning and online learning, consulting for universities, for organizations, and also I do some fun installations and makerspace type places, getting faculty and teachers to play a little bit more with technology and integrate new technology into their teaching and learning. I'm available during the day for conversations, in the evenings for conversations, and one thing I almost forgot was to talk about our open sessions on Thursday evening, 7 p.m. So each week we'll be getting together for an open lab. I may cancel it due to some travel restrictions, and I'll let you know in advance if I do cancel. But most of these are will have a guest speaker. And these guest speakers are, some of them are famous professionals in the industry and in different industries. We have filmmakers, we have performance educators, we have people who wrote the book on digital storytelling. And we have a Native American storyteller, famous Native American storyteller. So I highly recommend that you come to these sessions. And I understand we all have busy lives. I understand if you can't make it, and do recommend that you watch the recordings. Sometimes, we've had 2 or 3 people and that's all show up. Our speakers are still very engaged. And remember, if you are there, you get to ask questions. Now, on the nights that we don't have a guest speaker coming to class, I'll be hosting an open lab. And in those open labs, we'll start by just a mini lecture. I'll call it a lecture. I'll be doing a presentation, a short presentation, and it may be, we may have time to do a quick storytelling round. We may just talk about the technologies that you can use for the projects we're working on. They're just going to be open sessions, and if it's not a guest speaker, it'll probably be an hour. With our guest speakers, it will probably run an hour and a half, and those are on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. Again, please know that you can reach out to me if you have questions or concerns, or or you need inspiration for a story. Never hesitate to reach out if you need inspiration for a story. I'm really good at that. So I really look forward to sharing this course with you this term. It's one of my favorite courses to teach. I will also let you know, some of you may be, in the local area here or throughout New York State. I'll let you know if I'm doing any performance storytelling nearby. And also you should check out to see if there's any storytelling venues near you. And let me know if you're going to be performing anywhere. Anyway, it's great to have you here, and welcome to Digital Narratives at SUNY Poly, and I'll see you online. Take care.